everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, complete fixture pile-up, loads of congestion of matches because we keep going through in cup competitions mostly, although that's not always the case. I'll tell you about that later. But today we've come back actually for an FA Cup fourth qualifying round rather than the league match just because of the reschedule. And so today we play Kings Lynn. Can we get through to the FA Cup first round proper? Let's find out. So welcome back to Truro City. We start on the schedule page and there's nowhere else we really need to start, to be honest, because the fixture pile-up has been madness. We're in too many cup competitions as well as a league programme. It means a bit of a pile-up of fixtures in those cup competitions. So it meant all the schedule was rearranged. And so the team that we were going to come back for, which I think was Chippenham, has been delayed. So we're coming back today for an FA Cup fourth qualifying round instead of the league game against Kings Lynn. They're in the same tier as us. They're just in the northern half compared to our southern half. So it'll be an interesting game to see how we cope with them. In recent form, the league has been going pretty well, although we did get a draw against Lewis. Neither team really showed up, and we both missed a couple of really key chances that could have won the game for us, and neither took those chances. And then in the last game in the Southern League Cup second round, we lost to Nuneaton Borough. To be honest, I'm not that bothered. It's the lowest priority competition we've got. We've got too many competitions going on, too much of a fixture pile up. So I put a weekend side out. We got beat. That's fine. We're out of that. We move on. And today we're moving on against Kings Lynn in the Emirates FA Cup fourth qualifying round. So it's a chance to get into the first round proper for the FA Cup if we can get through this last qualifying round. Kings Lynn sit in the northern section of the tier that we're in tier 6 of English football. We're in the southern section, which is why we don't play them. But it'll be an interesting game nonetheless. So yeah, it's not been too bad. We still sit top of the table in league terms, which is fantastic. A little bit of a gap opening up, which is great. And other than the Southern League Cup, which we're not bothered about, the other two, the FA Trophy and the FA Cup, we're still in with a chance. So let's see how we get on today against Kings Lynn. So the only player out today is Murray. He's been out for the last couple of weeks with a knock, but he's on his way back, which is good. So we'll be full strength again very soon, I hope. But he's out for another week maybe, and that's okay. We've got enough cover in the central defensive area. That's no major problem at this point. He would have only been on the bench anyway. So we've given everybody pretty much a good run of games in rotating the squad around a little bit recently. The only one that hasn't is Miles, our reserve goalkeeper. We'll just check him out because we haven't looked at him yet. He's not brilliant, but he's not bad either. But he's good enough as a backup, and he'll play a little bit moving forward, but he's been injured for most of the first part of this season, which is why he's missed out occasionally when we've rotated the side. But he'll get his chance soon enough, but everybody else has been given a little bit of a go here and there. So it means that everybody's pretty fit and healthy, which is what we like to see. So for today's game against Kings Lynn in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, we stick to our normal setup. 4-2-3-1 in the custom direct counter-attacking style that we're becoming accustomed to and is working so well for us this season. And the team for today is Hammond in goal, Morgan at right back, Rounsfell at left back, Kazoo and Stavru in central defence, Early, Rooney and Harvey in central midfield, McKenna on the right, Salem on the left and Neil up top, with a bench of Chanel, Riley Lowe, Richards, Petit, Hagan, Pritchard and Horsewood. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, we've gone with the media who've given you a lot of credit recently. Go out there and put a worthy display on. Put the onus on them to actually show up today. We're at home, which is always going to help us. So we've got a good chance of getting through this if we play our natural game and if we keep to the form that has got us to the point where we're at so far this season. Early days, we'll see in this game how we compete with the system that Kings Lynn have come in with, sorry, my mind went blank there. You can see here that they've come in with a diamond in midfield and 2 up top. So that provides its own challenges, especially the 2 up top. They're going to be quite attacking maybe. So we've got to be on our mettle a little bit. And it's a long sweeping free kick. And it was very, very central to the goal, wasn't it? The free kick. It just went over the top. The defence was asleep, really. And Aluwu gets on the end of it for Kings Lynn with a very good header back across the goalkeeper who couldn't readjust his footing. And they go 1-0 up after 28 minutes of the game. And that was a really disappointing goal to concede from such a central sort of direct free kick. I'd have hoped that our defenders would have coped a little bit better. But there we are. The setup is for us to have to come back into the game. So let's see if we can manage it before half-time, hopefully. And there's a chance. Neil intercepts the bad ball back to the defender. Has a really powerful shot at goal. But the goalkeeper manages to get enough on it to parry it wide of the goal out for a corner kick. And we've been quite dangerous from corner kicks so far this season. Morgan to the near post. This time it doesn't come to much. And actually it was Kings Lynn that picked up the loose ball then as well. With a couple of minutes to go, we've got a throw in down the left-hand side. Rounsfell into Harvey. Cross comes shot. Whoa, that was something, wasn't it? I think it was a cross rather than a shot into maybe Neil. But it goes wayward compared to where Neil was. Goes past everybody. The defenders and the goalkeeper was really caught out by it. And it goes into the back of the net. That was quite something, really. I think the goalkeeper will be kicking himself, though, really long term, that he managed to let that one go in. And we just about squeeze a 1-1 draw out of the first half. Having said that, if we look at the statistics, 55% possession, 76% pass completion, which is good. We had 8 shots at goal, 3 on target, 3 and 1 for them. Not a particularly good XG rating at all for either side, but we managed to squeeze a goal out for each team, and it seems to be going fairly evenly in that first half. So let's see if we can just up the pressure on our side a little bit, just to perform a little bit better in the second half. So we're going to pump the fists, and we're going to say... let's say if we can get the goal, it makes us favourite, go out there and make it happen. I go straight back out, and then of course we go into the shouts and we fire up the team to begin the second half with, and see if we can get going in this second half early. Rounsfell with a long throw in, and it's partially cleared, but Harvey will pick up the loose ball and it sends it out wide right to McKenna, so it's gone right the way across the pitch to the other side. McKenna sweeps it back across the left side, a little bit wayward, but we managed to make the most of it. Stavrou with a ball to the back post, and there is McKenna, and on the half volley puts the ball into the back of the net, and we've come from 1-0 down to lead 2-1 after 53 minutes. A good start from this second half, as I say. A little bit of a wayward ball there, but we make the most of it, and Rounsfell drops it back to the supporting Stavrou, who puts it into that far post area where he finds McKenna, and what a fantastic finish that was. And we are looking an awful lot better than we did in the first half hour of this game now, which I'm really pleased about. We're at 61 minutes, so we've got to see the game out for another sort of 5-10 minutes before we think about making a couple of changes maybe. There's a loose ball from Harvey. Fortunately, it doesn't come to much on this occasion, and we can win it back quite comfortably for a wayward ball from Kings Lynn. Nobody quite wants it at the moment. We need to get it down a little bit and work the wide areas some more. So Salam does that for us, takes over from Rounsfell, and then Harvey on the top of the box turns and then powers a shot into that top corner, and again took everybody by surprise. And he's doing really well on his sort of long shots today, if that's what we'll call the first of his goals. But Salam drops it back into Rooney. Rooney finds Harvey, swivels on a sixpence, and then powers the ball in the back of the net. And that is a fantastic move eventually down that left-hand side. And it's something that we're working on quite a lot, is getting Rooney as the Metzala to drift slightly wide as the inverted fullback comes and sit in his position, Rounsfell, which then frees up the space ahead of him for the likes of Harvey and Salam to get in the game and make the difference. And that's what they managed to do just at that point. 71 minutes gone. I've paused the game so we can go and make a couple of substitutions. And I'm thinking we are going to have to take the yellow card off particularly. I don't want to go down to 10 men at this point and cause ourselves a problem. So we're going to take Harvey out. We're going to put Petit there, but switch Petit and Rooney over. And just play Rooney in behind the striker. And then we've got a couple of other changes that we can make. Now, both Rounsfell and Morgan in our fullback areas are not doing particularly great. So we're going to take Rounsfell out just because we've got a natural replacement for him on the bench in Riley Lowe. But then also at the other end of the pitch, not a particularly fantastic game for Neil, but I think he might have just been saved by the fact that Salam, who is having a little bit of an issue with his fitness here and there, is very low again in his conditioning. So we're going to have to protect him a little bit. So we're going to take him out. And what we're actually going to do is going to put Hagen on instead of Salam. And then we'll switch Hagen and McKenna over. And McKenna plays off that left-hand side pretty well. So that's not too bad. So those are the changes we're going to make. We're not going to change anything to the setup at all. I think we're playing quite well in this second half. So we'll just have to see how the remainder of the game goes. But so far, so good, really. Having gone down early, we've since come back into the game. And now we've got that 2-goal margin. And it's Riley Lowe with a long throw again into the penalty box. Causes all sorts of problems. And it looks like we're going to get a penalty. And it looks like Andrew Neil will get a chance for his goal. And having not taken him off, this is the chance for him to get another goal to his ever-growing tally this season, and he does convert it, and we go 4-1 up after 85 minutes of the game. And those long throws at this level of football with the defenders that we're up against cause all sorts of problems. They don't know how to deal with them. It panics everybody in the box, and then we get results like the penalty that we've just seen. So it's a worthwhile thing to have in our arsenal this season. But having said that, in the 88th minute, Kings Lynn have got another goal back. Sonny Carey with a brilliantly struck free kick. You could almost feel it coming, couldn't you, really? A nice position for that right foot. Didn't quite get it totally in that top corner, but he got it up there enough for the goalkeeper not be able to get across to it. But I think we're going to be all right to see the game out, and we are. And we go into the FA Cup first round proper. And now we're starting to see that maybe we can go on a decent cup run and get a good opposition to help boost the Coppers even more in our finances. So that would be the hope, really. Truro 4, Kings Lynn 2. I think the second half we did pretty well. So in terms of analysing this particular performance, it's all in the stats, really. 54% possession. We had a 77% pass completion rate, which is decent enough in the style of game that we're playing now. 13 shots a goal and 7 on target. That's not too bad. 7 out of 13. A 1.71 XG rating, and we got 4 goals from it. So our striking boots were well and truly on today, weren't they? And we did exceed the expectation, which is fantastic to see. If we go into the analysis page a little bit deeper, you can see that this is our shot map, and a lot of them were fairly central in and around the penalty spot and inside that penalty area. So there's some good attempts that were made there, and then of course some really long shots as well, and the likes of Harvey getting a couple of goals, one from way out of the box, wasn't it, really, with a bit of a shot come cross. I think that was a bit lucky. We kept Kings Lynn down to a few strikes at goal, and mostly down this left hand side, but we did pretty well against them, I would suggest, in keeping them out. In terms of our heat map, it sits just behind where my face is on the screen, but we're compact, should I say. We've worked well. There's a good spread of how the ball was moved through that particular team today, and I'm pretty pleased with it, to be honest. The right fullback drops a little bit deeper than maybe I'd wanted him to, but other than that, I think it's a good team shape and we're working the ball very, very nicely. And this one here is the Kings Lynn shape, and they are a huge amount deeper than we were. Their back line is just outside the penalty box, whereas ours is sitting inside this central circle of the pitch. So you can see that we played a much higher line, pressed the ball a little bit better than potentially they did. And all of that meant that I'm happy enough with our focus of attacks, and the action zones mean that we had a reasonable amount in midfield, which is good, and a lot in their half as well, which is fantastic to see. And Harvey was the star of our show, and it remains from last season. The likes of Harvey and Andrew Neil are performing magnificently well for me. I'm very, very impressed by the two of them. If we go and have a look at the shots that we got today, let's just focus on our own. So here are the 4 goals, one from very, very long distance. Harvey's second one was where he swiveled on the sixpence and got it from the top of the penalty box. One from the penalty from Neil, and one from the near post from McKenna. So it's a good spread of goals, really. Off target, we did get a few, and a few from sort of central positions where you'd hope that we would have got a better connection, really. And it looks like Early and Stavru were a couple of culprits, and that's probably off of corner kicks, I would imagine. So maybe we got to work on finding a better corner kick taker to get it more accurately to the place where we need to. No hitting the woodwork today. 3 shots were saved. Not too bad, other than maybe this one where I would have expected him to do a bit better. And then we got 1 blocked as well. So shooting boots were well and truly on today. Here we go into the passing and the completed passing one. Just for giggles. The intercepted, not too bad. Only 12 intercepted passes today. I think that's a little bit more accurate than we've been recently. We had 1 blocked pass, but then unsuccessful. Again, it's these long throws. We're peppering them with long throws and free kicks, I would suggest, from these wide areas. And they're not quite accurate enough. But it's the way that I want to set the team up. It's just about finding long-term a couple of players that can put a better long throw in than what we have currently. But look at these for number 3, Rounsfell, and number 2, Morgan, down the right and the left-hand side. Loads and loads of chances. We just have to get slightly better at the delivery. Out of play, not too bad at all. We kept that to a minimum today, so I'm happy with that. And here's the key passes. 8 key passes into this penalty box, and we didn't make the most of all of them, so there's still room for improvement. Although, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with how it all worked out today. And there's the 1 chance, key chance created, and it was from Stavru down that left-hand side. Not too bad. I'm happy with all of that. So let's pick one other area of the pitch to have a look at. And we are going to have a look at the average ratings today. So let's go and have a look at the average ratings with the ball. And this is the guy that I'm interested about as to whether we could move him slightly higher up. He's a good defensive fullback and he's holding shape pretty well. You can see that Rounsfell, rather than being out here, does drift in because he's the inverted winger, which frees Rooney to go into this sort of position. So there's a lot of good stuff happening on the left-hand side of our team. Can we make the right side a little bit more potent by moving Morgan up? Might have to experiment that. Without the ball, you can see that Riley Lowe was a second half substitute and came on and sat much deeper than his counterpart Rounsfell, who drifts in. But the 2 fullbacks may be sitting a little bit too low. Maybe we need them a bit more in line with the central defence, so maybe we can play offside a little bit better. I don't know, something to think about. I'm just not quite happy that it's the fullbacks that are the lowest in our defensive unit. Other than that, I think central midfield, I think we do really well. I think the likes of Early in the Carolero role, moving from side to side, cover a lot of ground, frees Rooney up again. And we had the likes of McKenna cutting in a little bit and supporting the play. Maybe Neil gets a little bit isolated occasionally, but not too much. I think overall we're doing all right. And here is the overall positions, average positions. And again, it's just whether we want to move these fullbacks a little bit in advance of the central defence and just get a little bit more security because of that. Maybe we drop the central defensive line back a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. What's your thoughts? What would you do? Would you worry about it because we're winning loads, or would you try and make this slightly harder to play against, maybe by dropping the defence or pushing the fullbacks a little bit? Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the compact nature of it. I think we move together as one all around the pitch a bit in the block and just make ourselves quite difficult to beat. So I'm more than happy with that. And overall today, I'm ecstatic because we got through to the first round proper of the FA Cup. And hopefully next episode, I'll be able to fill you in exactly who we ended up getting. So just as we started the episode in the schedule page, we finish it in the schedule page. And now looking at what we're going to be doing for next episode, and it will be Oxford City at the end of the calendar year. At the end of December, we're going to come back in the next episode and play Oxford City. So got plenty of league matches to play between now and then. Still some more cup games, including that first round proper of the FA Cup against an unknown opponent as we speak. And so we'll have gone through that, hopefully, and see if we can get through to the early part of January where the big boys start to enter the competition. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I think maybe that's a year too soon, but maybe next year, who knows? We'll see. We'll see how we get on, who we get in this first round. But other than that, we've got a lot of decent games coming up in the league, and it's really what we have to focus on. We are going really, really well so far. You can see that after 8 games so far, we sit top of the table on 22 points, and Concord and Lewis are on 9 games played and 18 points. So there's a little bit of a gap opening there. If we can keep up the good run of form, then I think we're on to a winner in the league form at least. So that's the intention anyway. We'll have to wait and see how it works out. But a very good win today. More goals to fill our boots with, which is fantastic. We've been scoring bucket loads, really, which is really great to see, primarily through the likes of Andrew Neil, supported very ably by the rest of them. So all good. So come back next episode and join me for the Oxford City game. I'll catch you up on all of the stuff that's happened in the league up until that point, plus those couple of different cup competitions as well. Until then, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. We're doing really well, I think, this season, so I hope you're enjoying the ride. But thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. There's loads of ways in which you can join the community through Discord, through Twitter, through Patreon. All the links to those sort of things are in the description below. Click that like button for me on this particular episode. That helps me get seen by lots of other people and continues to help me grow the channel. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.